Ah! Oh no! Alien 3 for the Super Nintendo is a 1993 video game by Probe Software and published by LJN. The game is based upon the third film in the Alien series, which starred actress Sigourney Weaver in many of its movies as the character Ellen Ripley. There were actually quite a lot of different games made in 1992 and 1993 based upon the Alien 3 movie. The Sega versions, the Nintendo versions, and others, as well as versions for both Sega and Nintendo handhelds, as well as an OG NES and a Master System version, were all fairly different from each other. There was also an arcade game called Alien 3: The Gun, and while each console's game is completely different, the Sega version is more straightforward action, where the Super Nintendo version here has you going on missions that feel a bit Metroidvania style. But today we are focusing solely on the Super Nintendo version. Unlike some of my video game reviews, I've actually played this one as a kid, so I know it pretty well, though there are many things that I didn't know playing this one back in the day. I remember watching the Alien movies briefly as a kid, and at the very least the designs of the aliens stood out from other monster movies and alien types found in movies. Eventually I rented the video game for the Super Nintendo when I was a kid. The only console I had back then was the Super Nintendo. I remember even asking Santa Claus for this game for Christmas as a kid, so I've definitely got good memories of this game. But wait, it's a movie-based video game? Alien 3 is a side-scrolling shooter game set in the Alien 3 movie setting, with some major changes to story. The game has you playing only as Ellen Ripley, the last survivor of the Nostromo from the original movie Alien, as well as the only survival of a colonial marine escape pod, which kicks off the events of Alien 3 and this game. In the movie, there was only one alien xenomorph pretty much, so it was either based on a dog or an ox, depending if you watched the theatrical cut or the special edition version of the movie. The game changes this immediately right from the start with many different aliens of all types and different ages or states of alien xenomorph development. This game has a very open feel to it, which I like. You can explore the first stage you start at freely at any time. There are 6 total game stages with different map layouts, and each one has between 6 to 8 different missions to go through on each stage. Once Ripley has successfully completed all the missions on a stage, you can go on to the next stage until the game is done. To play the game, you start by accessing a computer terminal. In ways, this reminds me of the gameplay of the other Super Nintendo game, Judge Dredd, where you can access a computer to check up on mission info. This is used differently, however, in Alien 3. This computer terminal has a list of all the missions in that stage. Complete them all to move on. A cool thing about the game is that you can do any of the missions in any order you want to. The missions are all different on a stage, but on later stages you will have some missions that are similar style. Missions range from destroying all alien eggs in a specific area of the map, to repairing parts of the building and computers, to rescuing people held captive by the aliens. However, some missions might interfere with other missions if done in the incorrect order. The missions that cause problems are the ones involving sealing of doors to areas, so choose your mission order wisely. The computer terminal is also where you access the game stage's map. You can view a very detailed map fully on any computer terminal. This allows you to fully navigate and check out every area in the stage, which also shows item locations and objectives, as well as, maybe most importantly, the room names. The room names are important because when you accept the missions, it'll tell you which room the quests are located in. Remember the names well because you'll be going back to the map if you get lost. That was one of the hardest aspects of this game, was finding out the correct room to do the mission in, but as you go along with the missions you begin to memorize each location on the stage. Controls. Controls in this game are awesome, as each button on the Super Nintendo controller has a use. Aside from B button, which is used to jump, by simply pressing one of the other buttons you will start to shoot with that weapon. The specific weapon types are 3 weapons in the game, each requiring their own separate ammo type. One is the flamethrower, one is a pulse rifle, and the other is a grenade launcher. Also importantly, as you play, you will notice that certain guns work better on certain alien types. Small aliens like facehuggers and chest bursters are good for the pulse rifle. The flamethrower is great for destroying eggs as well as use in tunnels. The grenade launcher is best for the bigger sized aliens such as the Bambis, developing aliens, or fully developed aliens as they're all called. While any gun can be used to damage any enemy, using the right gun at the right time works best and can also save you ammo. And by pressing select, you can activate your tracking radar, which will help you find certain things in the game. The L and R buttons are used as well to toggle between your weapons so you can check the ammunition count for each weapon without actually firing the weapon. For the enemy aliens, we have multiple types. As the stages progress, you will see new ones appear as well as different colored, stronger variations of the aliens. The aliens all represent different stages in the xenomorph's evolution. You can see them hatch from eggs, so be careful around the eggs too. Facehuggers can jump on your face as well as a normal attack, kind of similar to Nintendo's own Metroid Alien, which Metroid was inspired by the series Alien. Chest bursters are fast, small alien types and can spit acid. Bambis, as they're called, are fast, middle-sized aliens that can also spit at you. Developing aliens can jump at you to attack. Fully developed aliens can climb on walls and even the ceilings and then attack you from any angle. They're also the strongest, but in stage 1 can still be destroyed with a single grenade shot. A couple other things about the game Alien 3. The graphics are pretty amazing. They're dark and gritty, but they still look great on the Super Nintendo. Every time you see something in color it stands out, such as the green flame or the blue flame, or even the basic red flamethrower. Things like the alien effects and acid look great when you see that contrast between the bright neon green and the dismal dark gray and brown of the background. It's a good way of making a dark graphics game look great on Super Nintendo. The music in this game is really good too. Every time you select a mission, it changes up the song to a different song on the soundtrack. It's upbeat, action-packed, and intense. The first stage is easier than the next stages that follow it, so you do have time to practice and figure out the controls and how the game really works before it gets too hard. It might throw you off that you only have one life before the game gets a game over, and you have to start over from the beginning. Game over, man. But you do have lots of chances to pick up health packs. Every time you start a new mission, the health packs reset, so you can always go back to get them and get full health again. Additionally, upon completing a stage, you get a password, so you can enter that password and then continue from that stage. And the passwords are not very long, they're not a bunch of confusing letters and numbers mixed together, they're just a simple word, so they're easy to remember. One of the most disappointing things about the game Alien 3 is that there's no final boss battle, and there's not really any boss battles either. There's just some bigger aliens, the queen-size aliens, that you fight on certain missions throughout the game. Specifically, the last mission in the game has you fighting off against a queen alien, but it's just on a regular part of the level, not in a separate boss area. There's a cutscene played that shows the final giant alien being destroyed. So then there's one final cutscene where Ellen Ripley sacrifices herself to destroy the very last alien on the station, which is inside herself as a baby. So she destroys herself in the fire, and that's how the game ends. So overall, the game is a very fun, satisfying experience. Doing all the missions feels rewarding and satisfying, but with the lack of a final boss battle, it does feel a little bit empty at the end of this game. The feel of the game is different than the movie. While the game is based on Alien 3 and it retains the same setting and style of visuals, there is little to no story scenes. Aside from an opening cutscene and an ending scene, the only dialogue is Ripley reading and responding to the missions on the computer terminals. So the basic plot and other characters from the movie are gone. Also, the movie once again only had a few aliens. The game makes the aliens weaker in their strength and removes most of the horror elements from the movies, but it makes up in lack of alien strength by adding a ton of enemy aliens. These aliens are all over the place and respawn very quickly in most areas. You will see and fight against most of the known alien types from the first 3 movies. So this game is mostly pure action and not horror or stealth, but it is very good at being an action game. And while Alien 3's movie was specifically depressing and dark in tone and feel, the video game feels upbeat and active with its intense action and solving the various missions Ripley goes on throughout the game. With 6 to 8 missions on 6 different stages, this game is not too short. It definitely feels longer than your average Nintendo NES game, and longer than most Super Nintendo action games too. The first stage, while being easiest in difficulty, but longest in mission count, took over an hour for me. Maybe less if you're familiar with the layout of the game map. Overall, the game holds up well over the years, even more than the movie is based upon. I loved the game as a kid, and that remains as an adult. I might even like it more now that I'm more familiar with the movies. Whereas the movie is not as much fun on rewatches because it's kinda depressing to see. I love the game, and in my opinion, it's a great entry in the Alien video game series. While there are other great Alien games as well, I personally think this is one of the best. The game is fairly original in design, especially for 1993, so I would recommend it to fans of Super Metroid. But it's not exactly a Metroidvania, as it has 6 separate, unconnected map stages. But the feel of going from mission to mission makes each stage feel like a mini Metroidvania in style, and it's great to have that open feel to it. As for being a movie game made by notorious game company LJN, or at least published under LJN, this game has to be one of the best games to bear the LJN rainbow symbol. So if you're one that doesn't like movie games by LJN, don't be misled and miss out on this awesome game. And that's why Alien 3 for the Super Nintendo is the best Alien gaming experience ever. What was that? Oh my god! This is awesome. Alright everybody, that's it for today's video game review here on Happy Bird Games' GameTober. We checked out the video game Alien 3 for the Super Nintendo. Awesome game, and it's a lot of fun to check out and to review. If you like this video, please be sure to stay tuned to Happy Bird Games for more classic gaming goodness. You can subscribe today here on YouTube. You can check me out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well, where I post regularly on those as well. And I hope you stay safe this year on Halloween. Alright everybody, bye! Happy Halloween, and happy GameTober. Whoa, actually that was a real fear, real fear. That was scary.